I came from Edmonton as part of the delegate to attend this very important conference. While they are setting up, we'll be presenting on the PowerPoint. I want to call Brother William. William.
He's not here, that's why I said let number 4 do it. Because
Okay.
he's on the way coming.
All right. So I didn't know that William was not here. Then we can give a shine to the last group. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and thank you all for paying attention. Group 6 is going to be represented by Kwach Ding and Atlina Yol. We summarize our topic into 2 areas, very important areas. The first area, we should talk about burial, will be presented by Natalina, and I will come with a recommendation later. Thank you.
Yes, as you see the title over there, somebody here is going to be bringing our point overhead here. Yes, okay, so we have actually put our point out in 2 sections, which is first subheading is barrier to employment. And our first point is skills mismatch, overqualifications, foreign credentials, and lack of Canadian work experience. This is a big deal. It applies to us, and it applies to majority of immigrants that are new to Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see up there, just looking at the skills mismatch and overqualification, our people, when they come here, they have very high level education. Also, they have theory, like we have lawyers that came from Egypt. So the job sector or the employment doesn't give jobs to people that are highly qualified from other countries, and especially when they are speaking other languages other than English, which is the language of instruction in Canada. This is a huge problem. And that has led to us not graduating from the first stage, the second stage, and the 4th stage of culture shock. Culture shock is a big problem. And when we come here, frustration remains with us for a long time and forever. Our people will be frustrated, and are still frustrated up to now, because they are not satisfied. They are not happy with the system here, because the system discriminates against them because their credentials are not recognized, and therefore they do not work in their fields. Secondly, the last stage of culture shock, which is acceptance, adaptation and acceptance. It means that when we are here, after the honeymoon of arriving to Canada, we are so happy. At the last stage, we should adjust and accept the culture and the values of work here. But again, when our qualifications do not qualify us to get jobs, we get frustrated. And in Dinka, we have what is called Kenachebai. It's a big thing. Kenachebai means that Canada, or wherever we are worldwide, the place where we have come to in the first world, are not worthy living. So Kenachebai means it is a phenomenon in Dinka. And I believe all of us in other languages, like in Arabic, Dama, Asuma, Beled, Assassin. This is what we say in Arabic. And we are frustrated, we will always want to exodus. We want to leave. And that's why you see we are not settling here. Majority of us go back to South Sudan. And it was mentioned earlier by one of our representatives yesterday that South Sudanese have this mentality of living here temporarily. Why is that? It is because we don't belong. We feel that we don't belong because we don't blend in, we don't get jobs, and without jobs, we live in the most disadvantaged neighborhood because we cannot afford to buy homes, and therefore we do not become part of this culture. Lack of network. Second point, lack of network, communication skills, and language barriers. It's the same thing. It's part of culture shock. It was already outlined earlier by the previous speakers. I'm not going to talk more about that because already it will be repetition. Point number 3, inadequate job side skills, interview skills, and an expectation. You see, in our culture, selling ourselves or talking or bragging ourselves is what we don't do, but it is what lacks in our interview skills. Eye contact is considered rude in our culture. So when we go for interview, you are like this. It looks like you are not confident or you have no skills. The body language itself, talking about your strengths, we don't do that because our culture doesn't allow us to do that. Therefore, we feel you cannot sell yourself. Here is my resume, look at it and give me a job. This is how we think, but this is not how it is here. Here you really have to talk very well about yourself and what you do well. And that discriminates against us, and therefore we are not able to get any job that is advertised. Point number 4, lack knowledge of available resources. We were educated by our friends in our group that there are resources, and especially the skilled trades that are offered by so many government colleges, and even the government give grants for people to go to school. Once we go for such trades, we have wider job opportunities. And because we have no knowledge that they exist, we are not able to tap into that. Number 5, perceived employer biases. This is a big thing, and we are experiencing regardless of our credentials. There are so many employers that have this systemic racism. They look at us as South Sudanese, they look at our race, and there are stereotypes associated with our race. In most cases, we are not being denied the job that we deserve. It's a big problem. Cultural adaptation and challenges. Already, a lot of cultural challenges have been outlined, like family violence. We talk about the challenges such as why don't we blend, why we don't blend in, why we don't become part of this culture. It is that we feel so much that we require or what we need are not met in this culture, and therefore it will be very hard for us to adapt to this. Also, there is post-traumatic stress disorder. It was already outlined by Nyomlaau. Next subsection is barrier to education. I would like to add to that, and I want to make it point number 1. Placement, ESL placement is a huge thing. It has affected so many in our community. The requirement for ESL or the placement of our children on this into this program. From time to time, we, the parents of South Sudan children, we have problem with the schools. In the first place, as it was outlined here, that our kids were born here, they speak English very well, and they are not struggling with English. But what I have found out over years, most schools take our kids as hostage for them to qualify for government grant. I was made to understand because at a certain point when my kid was going to grade 1, and then I was told, Mrs. Yo, you haven't filled out the ESL form. I said, what is it for? They said, yes, your child is going to be in ESL next year. I said, why? And by then my daughter was having 91, 97, 98, 99, somewhere there. And they said, you know what, Mrs. Yo, the form have to be signed because the government will not give us grant. In other words, our kids are used, even if when they don't qualify for those programs, to make the school qualify, and that's a problem. Secondly, we have academic challenges, and that's what leads to school outdraw. Majority of our children do not perform at grade level at this time. Previously, with the older children that have graduated at this time, there was that grade gap. But right now, it is performance below grade. They were born here, they are exactly in the classes where they should be based on their ages, but they don't have that level. If they are in grade 3, they would be, or grade 6, they would be performing at grade 3 level. It's a challenge. And this challenge has to be fixed by having the center as it was outlined earlier. Coming to point number 2. Education services, institution not available in the area with higher concentration within our community. You see, even though they are available, they do not operate at the time when our people are ready to study. Working night shift, working evening shift, they are not always available for us to have a chance to study when the time is available for us. There's also no connection with new graduates so as to encourage and connect them to jobs and employment providers. So here, there is that disconnect within our community. Even when we graduate and we have no connection with people that can give us information where to go and where jobs are available. I believe we still have more points down. Can somebody, we have 4 points. Yeah, the student loan allowance, not adequate to make both ends meet during studies. You see, when we went to school, whatever was given to us is given at the beginning of semester for 4 months. But at the end of 2 months, we already ran out. And therefore, this discouraged our ability to go back to school because the money is not enough to cater for our needs and the needs of our families. Also, lack of social and professional network. Also, within our community, there are people that are professionals, but we have no network or organization that bring us together. Thank you. Watch will go ahead with the recommendation.
Thank you, Natalina. As she highlighted the barrier to education and barrier to employment that we face in this country, I'm going to put forward the recommendation. Our Group 6 recommended this task force group to summarize them and put them forward as one of the resolutions. We said that we advocate for South Sudanese community to have a multi-purpose community center. The community many of you talk about. We said that community center, if there is a way that we could be helped to have a center, that center will be a multi-purpose that includes basketball, daycare, many things within this place. And therefore, we will have our own people who know the system so that those new graduate or young people could come for them to help them find a job or find new opportunities. Again, we also recommend that our South Sudanese, we have people with business-minded. So these people, we want them to be empowered so that they can access loan or program to have their own small business where they could be able to hire 1 or 2 people. And therefore, the employment would be a thing of the past. I think this is connected to the same topic that I talk about, but we recommend that this task force group could be recommended to be the steering committee or task force to make sure that any resolution that we are concluded tonight they would be the first people to follow it up until we have a permanent community, so that we would be able to have any lack of access to information or lack of access to services that we need from the city or from the government within Alberta or Canada. Okay. We also recommend that with a language barrier, our people need to be supported. Like if we have a center, and this center, we will have a people that have employment skill, so that when you are looking for a job, that people would be available to help people with resume and cover letter, and also have a connection with social agencies or jobs that are available within the city or within the municipality. Again, we also talk about credential not being recognized within this country, and therefore, those who graduate in this country are also being rejected and with the claim that they do not have Canadian experience. And therefore, we are recommended that if there are any organization or funders, they should be able to help our graduates from other countries to access many ways so that their credential would be recognized in this country. This is important because when I came from, for example, I came from my country with a medicine degree. That means a human body is the same. Whether you study the Chinese body and white body and black is the same. But what I needed is a language so that I would be able to practice in this country. So the language should be the most important than denying or rejecting the whole degree that I studied for almost 8 or 7 years. This is very important. For those who graduate in this country, so let us say if I graduate from university and I am a mature student, I have a family or I'm older, then I wouldn't be able to go and do internship. Because if I got internship with no money, I wouldn't be able to put the food on the table for my family. And therefore, we recommended that a short paid internship should be actually funded for, so that I would go there and have a skill. When I come back with those skills and internship, I would be able to use in my resume, and therefore maybe I would be able to get a job than being denied that I do not have Canadian experience. Okay. Again, we also recommended that if we have a center, this center would be able to mentor our youth and recommend them to do volunteer job while they are still at university level or high school level, so that when they graduate or they finish their program, at least they would have a skill to show that they volunteer, and their volunteer would be recognized by potential careers. I think that is the last point have been talked about, and so thank you very much. If you guys have any question, we are welcome to listen to your question and answer.
Thank you again. Mine is not really a question, but an addition, a piece of information that I would like to add. As per this piece of information, the concepts such as overqualified and skills being not matching, and whether we graduate here or we don't find jobs, all this, let's do it this way. Canada basically does not recognize international credentials, quote unquote. That's one, that's a problem right there. Number two, it is not, I don't believe that's a law, but it comes to a question of bona fide occupational requirement, whereby in Canada, by law, the employer, I could be corrected, I'm not perfect here, an employer is allowed to put conditions when they are hiring, when they are making decisions to hire somebody. They see whether there is an undue hardship interfering with the process or not. This is affecting us as a community, because this is where the discrimination comes in. They use this to discriminate. They know that this is a loophole that they can use. This is to add. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Ajay.
Thank you so much. Because of the time. One more, okay.
Madam Mary has a question.
My name is Mary Malwell. Yeah, I've been hearing for every report coming here. Everybody talking about we need hold for us and everything. In Canada here, if you don't start by yourself, like us as Sudanese, we need to bring our money, and then government of Canada, they were supporting us. Yes. We need to focus on this. We don't have to say we need hold, and we don't do action. So thank God, we are here together. That's number one thing. But we need to focus on this. We need to bring our money. Yeah, and then government will support us.
Thank you so much. Let's give them a big round of applause. Okay, so before we go to group 5,